Now we got that pesky fucking hood out of the way. Makes it a lot easier to work and get this nose unassembled. Start going around there and getting all these bolts undone. Looks like in the front these two have a little bit of a smaller head to it, so this comes off, this bracket, which really doesn't do much. Okay. Go over the other side and do the same thing. Okay, it looks like there's another little 7mm back in here for this bracket. See if we can get it free here. Oh yeah, we're pretty much free. Okay, there's one. Okay, so we got this bracket off. There's wiring out of the way. Ooh, don't want to pull on this. Okay, so here's the connector for my K40. It looks a little fucked up here too. So I'm hoping I can, I don't know, glue this thing back together or some bullshit. It looks like I gotta gingerly get this off of here without breaking these tiny little wires. I could probably almost just slide it on out. Hopefully this thing still works. We got 3 wires going to it here. Yep, our bracket will have to come out for our K40. Pretty much see it busted off these 2 screws here. There's still one in the back holding it in from behind in the fender. I'm gonna go ahead and tack that one out. Hoping I can get the coolant tank out and find some of the missing screws underneath it. So hopefully it didn't make it out on the roadway. Fall off some other way. There we go. So she took a little hit in the corner. Probably have to get a new one maybe. Okay. It was held on by this one here. Okay, got those 3 out. The tank should just lift on out of here. Be nice. And we're kind of oh wow, we're kind of pinched in here by the horn. Come on, you piece of dick. Ah, come on. Bashed are we? Wow, we're still holding, and we're kind of bashed like that in the back. Oops. Go ahead and get the horn out of here. This bracket is pretty well mangled. Figure out some way of straightening that out. It'd be easier just doing it outside the car. Hope it still works. There we go. Oh, looks like our end of our horn's a little messed up too. Next I'll come in and I'll zip out all these torques here on the side of the fender. They're all P30s. 2. Do this on both sides. Well, I got the spool out. Okay, I got some of these bolts out down here. There's a 10mm with a T30 Torx on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. A couple were rusted. Right here and right here. 2 7mm from underneath. So I got this side pretty well loose. This is the easy side, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to go over to the other side and start dismantling all the other bullshit that's up in the corner. so that way I can get this part of the nose loose so I can get the whole nose off the car. Next we'll come over to the passenger side, and now I got to take note of how everything is to start with, because I'm going to want it all put back together just the way it was. And I'll start with this big ball thingy for the emissions, and it's got a little push pin that holds it into the fender well. I'll go ahead and pry that loose. We'll get that off of there. And now when you first take that out, that ball, it doesn't look like it even connects to anything. You're like, well, what was this connected to? I don't know. Well, there's a little small like nipple on the very, very bottom of it. So it connects to a real small hose that's down lower in the lower part of the fender here with all the other wiring. Let's move some things out of the way here. There's our vacuum hose that connects to the bottom of this big plastic ball. Not sure exactly what it does for emissions, but we want to make sure that it's put back exactly the way it was when we're done. That doesn't get missed. Okay, so we'll set this out of the way and proceed forward. Next we'll go for some of the easy things. Turn signal, marker light, both of them just, you know, twist and turn out of their sockets there. We'll go for the 7mm that holds on the bracket to the side of the bumper. I want to get that off because some of the wiring is clipped to that, and this way I can get that all undone. If I have to move some of the wiring aside, it'll just make things easier when I'm getting all the other fasteners off. So we'll just get this out of the way. The two 7mm in the front were already removed, so it's easy to just slide that out of the way. And we'll just push the wiring clips out of there and just set this bracket aside. Next I'll go for the 10mm that holds the big C-clamp that holds in the, I believe that's a charcoal can for the emissions. We'll undo that. Now when I'm moving it around at first, I can feel there's something underneath, like you can't just pull it straight up and out, so I'm just going to kind of leave that for now. There's a, I believe that's a solenoid right there. It's got another 10mm, holds it onto the impact bar. It's underneath this plastic cover. It's all held in by the screw. So we'll get that out of the way. Kind of slide that off to the side. Give myself a little more room to work in here. See where things are at. Now this can, yep, there's a vacuum hose on the very, very bottom of it. I can feel it. So I can't lift it straight up and out of there. What I'm going to do is just try to push it off to the side for now. There we go. So I can move it kind of out of the way. A couple 10mm bolts on the back side of this bracket. And I'm just going to put the can back in place for now, because I'm going to tack some of the other bolts that are down low in the fender well. The T30s with the 10mm. And on the other side I had a couple rusted ones, so I'm just going to go in there and a little shot of PB, squirt them down and wait. Just make it easier to take apart. There we go, give them a good shot. Come in there with my T30 and 10mm, remove all four of those down low. Now back to the can. There's a 10mm that is underneath the edge of the crash bar. That's why the bracket just doesn't lift right off when I took out the first two. I have to get in there and get that 10mm off so I can get the bracket fully released. And then next there's a couple 5/16 bolts that hold on my front spoiler down low. I've already got the front one off. I'm going for the back one. And around the very edge there's another 7mm that holds the spoiler onto the front splash guard thing that's underneath the bumper. So I'm getting that off, and this way I can get that piece removed. There we go. Here's part of my 3-piece now custom spoiler. Got that off. It's pretty much junk, can't be reused. I'm gonna have to buy a brand new part. Okay, I got the other side loose. Those bolts down low. Should just pull right off. Okay, the egg crate, I got that off. Next up is going to be the driving lights. Alrighty then, these are 11s. These ones go to 11. Couldn't do this from behind. Okay, the charcoal can, those two screws for that, that's what held this side. Now the light in. Next up is going to be getting the impact bar off from side to side. 8 bolts are going to be holding it on. There's going to be a couple down on each side, left and right. There's a little skid plate that goes down below. Right here's the 2 holes. I've already taken this one off. I'm going to have to get a new one. One of the ears has just been completely sheared off. So this part's no good. You can see it's got some stress to it. I got 2 13mm that held that on, and nut in the bolt, a couple washers that went on the inside to hold this in. And then the other side, we just loosened those up and this can just slide out of the way. But now for the ones for the back, and I want to take note here, there's 2 shims here, and there's also a washer behind there. And the other side here too, we got 2 shims. And also a washer behind this. I don't see any washer down low. It looks like it's just the 2 shims in the washer, so it's tipping the nose just a little down to the ground. But now here's the bolts that hold in right here. Here's one of them that holds on the impact bar. There's another one down lower, if you can see where the wrench is. I had to go out and buy a wrench with a flexible ratcheting end to get to these. So I'm working on this one. I've got 2 more to go, and then the whole bar will just come completely off the car. So that's what I got done over the weekend. We got everything pulled apart on the front end. Got all my spare parts over here right next to my brake and coolant flush I was supposed to do like 8 months ago. Here I got the hood, which is garbage, front nose, impact bar, and headlight assembly, all garbage. I'm gonna have to source those parts. Up front, there's these little shoehorn guys here that bolt up to the impact bar. That one was too bent, too far gone on the passenger side. I'm gonna have to get a new one of those. And I think in the meantime, while I'm looking for the the bigger replacement parts here, I'm gonna start detailing the front end here, the areas that I can't reach, and get that all cleaned up, because it seems like every time I touch this my hands are getting dirty, so I want to get everything all cleaned up. But that's what I got done for now, so stay tuned for more. Next video we'll start to do the repairs and start getting her back into shape. Thanks for watching.